time, Momo. I swear, you know every time I hit the start stream button. Every time.
Yeah, if you can give me a minute, buddy.
Every time. You know, I didn't even say anything. You just know. Huh. Hi. Are you being cute?
Just a minute, buddy.
Are you being cute? Come here. Did you want to be on the stream? I'm like, I don't understand what that means, lady. But probably not. Hi. Boop. This dog. That's what he does to me. He growls at me. He goes, grrr. There. Alright. He won't let you, Dolly. He's like, hey, hi, hi. Alright. So I know last week I was on the fence as to whether or not we were actually going to do this week. I did get the paper in. I did get it all cut. And I actually did get some of the blue twisted. And I wasn't sure how I wanted to do the neck or the body, because I'm like, well, we're gonna have a lot of line work here, right? So we're gonna have lots of straight curvy lines coming up and out and sideways, and then, you know, we're gonna have like little crescent line fan shapes over here, and I'll probably do like little tiny paper snakes, you know, filling those out, fanning them out into their little shapes. And I'm like, that's a lot of straight paper snakeage. So I wasn't sure how I wanted to do the body, and I'm like, well, we could do the body roughly, like we did with the bushes for the Bob Ross painting. But then I'm like, well, the body seems kind of smooth, kind of flat, kind of streamlined, and I'm like, well, that would be weird. Why is my camera flickering? What is it doing? Is this the problem? No, my camera's just, why? My camera is pulsing and I don't know why. It's doing it again. Is it because of how small the image is? Wow, that's bad. There's like nothing blowing. Like, I don't think there's anything like fuzz that would be causing that. That is why. Oh, really? Am I gonna have to go back to the other camera? This camera's been doing that and I don't know why. This is a manual focus. It shouldn't, oh, you don't need to see that. It shouldn't be doing that. It's not doing it on my on my streaming software. This is bizarre. For a second I thought it had stopped doing it. That's really annoying. Why? If I have to update drivers again, I am gonna lose my shit. Because I have had to deal with it. Yeah, it's pulsing. Why? Computer and camera, I really wish that you would get along.
I don't know.
It's pulsing again. And there's no reason for it to be pulsing because it's an it's a manual focus. It's not like it's trying to autofocus. It doesn't have that option. Like, I don't... Right? It looks like it's trying to refocus constantly, but...
try either increasing or decreasing your lighting, because it might be trying to adjust for all the different colors.
Tried to... No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It might just be trying to process.
It did this the last stream too.
Well, again, it might be because of what you're painting and how you're doing it. It might be trying to process. Have you taken that full screen by any chance?
Taken what full screen?
The stream.
It's not gonna do anything. It's the camera. It's doing it on the stream itself, and it's doing it on my preview.
But why? Okay, except it can't. It can't be just the camera.
It's not doing it over here. It's only doing it on Twitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not the camera. It's something to do with Twitch. Is it like just too complex? I don't know.
I wouldn't think so. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. We're just gonna have to go with it today because I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, I'll try to figure it out.
And I'm sorry, guys. If that's a deal breaker for you, I apologize, but I can't fix this. I don't understand what's happening. Alright. We'll try to go with it. So anyhow, as I was saying, I think I might do the body... Sorry. We'll get to what's happening here in a second, because it does look a little different than when we left off last week. I think I might do the body in, like, the paper circles, at least, like, down into here, maybe. Just to kind of break up all of the straight line textures. It might be a little bit fun. The head in here, we're going to do little paper balls. And then up in here, I think we'll do the squishy, feathery kind of, like the bush texture that we did on the Bob Ross one up in here. Just to kind of, to break up all of the main texture. Now last week I had talked about I wasn't sure if I was going to put sand on the background. I did. You can still kind of see like the white lines coming through here in different sections where I had originally painted those in. And you can kind of see the darker brown. Why do I hear myself? That's why. Sorry. I had music playing and I didn't hear it till then. So, now you can still kind of see like a little bit of something happening underneath the sand. I went with that just to help give coverage. It'll help make this bottom layer of paint a little less streaky, and it won't have to be quite as precise, and it'll just give it a little more something. So I'm gonna do some different. I'm gonna do some brown. We're gonna paint in some white areas, just to. If I can get my paint tube open, just to give us a little bit more of a something, and then there's gonna be certain sections that are going to get the white tube treatment with the feathers, but you know, there's some spots in there where it's not gonna be quite feasible, but we'll figure it out. So I need a paintbrush from my bucket. This might be the one we used last week. I'm not certain. Alright. I have a little bit of water. I don't want to water this down too much. I did put my brush in a little bit of it though. Sorry, a little piece of blue from the last color that I just pulled out of there before we got started. So I'm gonna try to follow sort of the lines that we put in here previously. Now it might have a little bit of like a dry brush texture at times, and that's fine. Yes?
I may have figured out how to solve it.
Okay, and how do we solve it?
You go to OBS
Uh-huh.
and you lower your bit rate on OBS
Lower my
under your stream properties.
bit rate on OBS.
Yeah, like where do you go for your stream details?
That would be on Twitch.
Okay, you don't have any kind of thing on OBS dictating what comes out from your computer. So I thought you had to like add your Twitch name and shit like that. Well, we'll tinker with it tonight.
Okay, there's a settings.
Okay, go to stream. Let's see. Okay, go to output. See where it says bitrate?
Mm-hmm.
Second down in the box, lower that.
To what?
I don't know, try 2000. Because apparently too high bitrate can do that.
It almost looks like it got worse.
It looks the exact same way, to be honest. Well, then put it back for now, and we'll tinker with it later.
Oh, okay.
I just thought I had an easier solution for you, so.
Let's see here. No, that doesn't look right. Alright, so that was 2,500. Apply. Okay. So this is gonna involve grabbing a little bit of, like, I don't want it too dry, but I don't want it too wet either, because we did glue the sand in, and I just don't want any excessive wetness to make the glue unhappy, because it was just tacky glue and the sand hasn't been sealed in yet. Sorry, trying to fix things on the fly. It would be more helpful if I could actually see it happening on my computer, but I only see it on I don't see it on my streaming software. I'm only seeing it on the Twitch side of things, which is bizarre. to me, but oh well. So this is the same color brown that had been under our sand here. Same shade. So, I mean, you can see that the sand is a lighter shade than it. And there we go again, hitting the microphone with the paintbrush. Sorry, I'm good at that. Must be a special talent of mine. Oh, Twitch, how you aggravate me some days. It wasn't doing this previously. Like, it started within the past couple of art streams. So I am trying to get our sides here. Because we really, I really half-assed the sides. Last time, because I was like, well, you know, we're gonna be coming back in with that, and you never know if this gets framed, it won't really be seen at that point. Now the sand will kind of soak in your paint a little bit, so you probably will go through a little bit doing this process. That's why I'm adding in just the littlest amount of water. Like, I don't want this to be a full wash, but I do want it to not be just straight paint. And we do have to start being a little bit more picky in this section. Trying to get everything in place. Like, I wonder if it's because I'm zoomed out so far, because we are pretty zoomed out here. Let me try something here. Camera's gonna get weird again. Apologize. Alright. Don't know if that actually did anything. It probably didn't. It's probably gonna still keep doing its weirdness. Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, maybe I have to do an update on my camera. I don't know, but I find it funny that it's not doing it on OBS, but it's doing it on the Twitch side of things. We'll try to see if we can figure it out for or next week there. Hopefully. Because I don't notice it when I'm not using the camera. It doesn't seem to be doing that. It seems to be revolving around something with the camera. Alright, I am gonna turn this guy sideways a little bit. No, we're not. Yes, we are. We're gonna be turning him sideways. He's so big in the orientation that I decided to do this in. Like, if I had an overhead camera, it might be a little bit easier. That's a little extra watery there. So I'm still gonna come back in and put the white in. I want to work with the brown first, because this paint has a tendency to dry super fast. So I don't want to be working both colors at once, because then somebody's gonna get dried out, and then I'm really not gonna be happy. Because this isn't the cheap paint. I could have dug the cheap paint out, but where it's currently stored is a bit of a production to get to it. Turn this guy. And I'm just hitting the edges of this. Now you're still gonna have a little bit of color, or you might have a little bit of color variation still. As you're putting the color down on top of the sand, depending on how much water you had in your brush or mixed into the paint at that time. And I mean, that's okay. It's not the end of the world, because stuff's gonna be going on top of this. And when we get the white paint worked in, it's not gonna be that noticeable. Now, I would try to paint in the direction that your feathers are gonna kind of go in, that I guess like the bones of the feather are gonna lay. Now, the sand will take a little bit longer to dry. Do keep that in mind. It's gonna look wet and feel wet probably a little bit longer than you're gonna expect. It might take a full day to really dry. Now, if you don't want to do this step, you don't have to. I'm just doing this because I think it's going to just give it a little something extra. Cats. Hey, you leave my Mai alone. Sorry, little the kitten was getting a little sassy with the older female. And she was hissing at her, and I don't know what their problem is. But little the kitten seems to need an attitude adjustment at times. Trying to figure out why it's looking a little extra streaky. I'm not sure if that's where I had placed the glue, like if that's the sections where I did the glue at, or if it's just the colors bleeding up from underneath. Anything's really possible, because I mean, we do have that tacky glue, and we all know if you get too much water on tacky glue, it almost like it starts to turn like a milky looking consistency. So that's why you want to be careful not to add too much water to this. I did have to finally move on to the new glue bottle though. While I was putting the sand in, I squeezed that glue bottle for all it was worth, but pretty sure we got just about every drop out of that guy. All right. So we've got some lighter brown forming in here, but I'm not really sure what's causing that. Could be just the amount of paint that's on my brush in those sections. That is possible. Alright, and I'm not gonna worry too much, like, oh no, we got some brown paint in the feather section. The tissue paper is going to cover that. The tissue paper will cover these, the little lip or ridge around where the sand is located, so that's fine. Okay, that's going to be okay. And you might have some little pieces of sand flick off as you're putting this in. That's gonna happen until everything gets all top sealed and secured. wouldn't fuss with that too much, or fuss over it too much. A couple of pieces flicking off from your brush rubbing against it. Meh. Now, I haven't had any brush get destroyed doing this, but if you have really expensive brushes and you worry about them, maybe use a cheaper brush. For this part. Like, it doesn't have to be in the state of repair that, like, our glue brush is in, but and this isn't a super cheap brush. I mean, the bristles aren't falling out or anything. But I know some brushes can be super expensive. Alright. Now, gonna have to kind of start to turn this bad boy again. Alright. Just so we can get him in camera here since I zoomed in. Although zooming in didn't really seem to do much to try to fix the problem. I don't remember this being quite so much of an issue when we were working on the Bob Ross one. I noticed it a couple of times, I think, but not to this extent. Oh, that angers me. We'll see. Maybe I have to redo the driver on the camera. I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't be affecting my preview though, if it was the camera. I mean, the image quality is better on this camera than the other camera. I still have the other camera somewhere, I think. Husband might have it. I think the image quality on the other one was kind of grainy. At times. Alright. So sorry there's no music, like I've said before. I don't want to play music because I might get in trouble for it, and I can't afford to have any music issues with the streams, so we're just gonna not, but you are more than welcome to fire up whatever music you're listening to that does it for you, that you enjoy. Sorry, there was a spot on the back, well, the top edge here that just kind of looked like it needed another past there. Okay. So we're gonna turn this guy. He is upside down. Alright, so we're about there, shall we say. And I'm just grabbing like a couple of drops of water, just at the tip of my brush. And I want to make sure that I get the edge here. And we'll just keep going round and round. And the sand does kind of cause the color to feather out a little bit, and that's fine. That's not necessarily a bad thing. All right. So if you guys are following along, I would love to see what you're doing. Or even if you're not following along and you're just creating your own thing, I think that would be awesome. You can tag me on Twitter. I don't have an Instagram. Actually, I might have an Instagram, but I don't use it. I think I had to sign up so that I could read somebody else's Instagram posts that I follow, I think. I'm not sure if I remember signing up for that or not. But I don't actually use it. I don't make it a point to use it. I have a gallery of some of the stuff I've done on my Ko-fi page. And then a lot of what I've done is up on the Etsy shop as well, at least what I've done recently. Alright. Just want to make sure that you get the crevices real good. There we go, hitting the microphone again. Alright. Keep on getting this side here because, you know, we shouldn't neglect the side. I do have a little bit of sand that spilled down the edge there though. That's kind of attached there now. I think that happened in a couple of spots where it kind of snaked down the edge on me. to start getting this section in here. So I had to do the sand without you guys, mostly because we wouldn't have been able to do anything else once the sand was done. And I figured that you all would find that seriously boring. It was just putting glue down and putting sand on and banging the extra sand off and then moving on to the next section, putting glue down, you know, rinse and repeat. So I figured that you all really didn't need to see that. Think of it as putting glitter on something. You know, you put the glue down, you put the glitter on, you bang it off. On to the next thing. Alright. Just keep on scrubbing in our color here. I think we're going to need to get some more color. Here in just a minute. As we get all our little crevices here. And I realize that I am out of frame now. My flamingo tweezers in the background. I got those from the Butterfly Conservatory. When we were in Key West, I saw them. I'm like, I have to have those. I don't think they were too much money for like a specialty looking set of tweezers. I mean, they might have been like, oh, that might have been too much. Maybe not. How much were they? Like $3.50 or something, which I guess isn't all that bad for a tourist thing. But we also got some butterflies that were mounted as art pieces. I guess they had died or what have you. Got a blue morpho and a monarch. They were pretty, and they were also references back to the Venture Brothers. Alright, so let's get a little bit more on the water. And you can kind of tell when you feel like you need more water, it'll start getting a little bit thicker. And it'll feel like your brush is dragging a little bit further. did get a little bit onto the body there, but that is fine. I've noticed that the side of this doesn't want to not be streaky. Alright, so we're going to turn again. And alright, just a drop or two more of water. And we'll hit up the edge here. Probably just gonna do most of the edging in brown. I do have a little bit of blue on the edge from the body. That's fine. Alright, now. Alright, let's slide the camera back down a little bit further. And work on getting this edge done. That was a little too carried away there. And then we'll start to finish up our last quadrant here. And we'll get that painted in. And since zooming in didn't seem to do much for the weirdness that's going on with the camera, I'll probably zoom back out for when we do the white here in just a few minutes. Alright, getting this all worked in here. Alright. So hope everybody's Sunday's going alright. Hope everybody's weekend was pretty good. I know the middle of the country it was pretty nasty and stormy for most of it. We were supposed to get some nasty storms last night, but the bulk of the nastiness stayed in Oklahoma and crossed into Arkansas just south of us. So we did have storms, and I think our lights blinked once or twice, but the worst of the concerning bits kind of slid to our south. But we did get some rain, which was good, because, I mean, while we've had a little bit of a wet spring, it's been very hot, so we kind of did need some more rain to maintain, to make sure that we don't slip into drought conditions. So this piece of fuzz like doesn't want to vacate the premises. Alright, I'm gonna have to turn this again. Ugh. And of course I've got paint all over me. Why wouldn't I? Alright. So yeah, we were lucky in the respect that we didn't get too much severe weather. Alright. So it looks like there's a spot on almost each corner where I had some, or each side, where I had a little bit of sand slip down the edge. Alright. So we'll finish up with this color. Kind of getting that put in. Now, the blue tissue paper I ordered, I had ordered it as a multi-pack with 2 other shades of blue, because I kind of needed all 3 shades. The blue didn't look, to me, quite this dark as what it ended up being. I thought I was getting more of like a jewel tone royal blue. That might have been my fault. It ended up being more like a navy blue. So the body of our peacock is going to be a little bit darker than I had necessarily intended. But you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, because without seeing the colors in person, it's gonna be really hard to match that. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. Alright. So this side up here needs a little bit more. Alright. So that's probably pretty good for that. Now let me rinse my brush while that's kind of hanging out, settling in. Move that over there. Alright. So let's dry our brush here and notice that we didn't get all of the paint out. Some of it's hiding up in there. Up near where the bristles and the ferrule are coming together. Alright, that should be good enough for what we're doing. So let me fix our camera again. Nope, not enough. good enough because this is so big, it's a little awkward to fit all in here. Alright, so that's basically, I mean, there's some lighter patches, the camera is picking that up correctly. So I'm gonna go with the titanium white now. And I think I might actually switch brushes again to something that's a little bit smaller. What do we want? Do we want the flat or do we want the round? And yes, that is painter's tape on that. I think we might go with the flat. We'll see how the flat behaves. Alright, so again, just a little tiny dip into the water. And I did brush some of it off. Alright. Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay, so now we're going to try to start to put in some of the extra white lineage in the background here. It doesn't have to be precise. Because we will have you know, tissue paper coming in here and laying on top and going every which way, but there is a good deal of white in here, so I felt like that was going to be a little bit hard to convey with the tissue. Oh, there I go again. Tapping the microphone. Sorry. Long handled. Well, it's not even that long of a handle on the paintbrush. I'm just bad at judging my space. It just felt like that would be a little bit overkill with the tissue paper. And there's going to be spots where we will have white tubing on the tissue paper, like on the background. And that's fine, because we'll need it in some spots, but it was going to end up becoming mostly white tissue paper if we did it that way. I'm kind of wiping a little bit of the extra off on my little mini paint palette here. Alright. It'll get better as we go and we start to really get in our tissue paper. Now, in some spots, the brown might not be quite dry. Like I said, sometimes it takes certain sections a little bit longer to dry when you are putting a slightly watered down version on the sand. So if your brush starts to get a little too much brown being picked up in it from underneath, just go ahead and rinse it and reset your white so it doesn't get too muddy. Because I mean, you do want this kind of bright. And don't do what I did and forget to follow your feathers. It's alright. It's okay. It'll be okay. Oh, I'm not even in frame. There we go. Forgot, this guy's a little awkwardly sized in this orientation. And I'm gonna have to keep repositioning. So in the sections where the brown is still a little wet, you might have to pick up a little bit extra paint. Or, like I said earlier, you might have to reset your brush, clean it, and come back in. Alright. Now, let's come back up here. So your lines are going to look a little wobbly because of the sand underneath. But once we start putting in all of the paper and stuff, it'll be fine. And it'll give it a little bit of character too. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So things are ever rarely 100% perfect. So I'm just kind of trying to work on getting some of these angles in here, but you know what? Even if the angles aren't perfect, it's fine. Because, you know, there'll be feathers that are overlapping each other and maybe not laying 100% right, or something got stuck on another feather when it was unfurling. So it's fine. Don't even really put too much fuss into it. Like, it's gonna be okay. And you know what? It's how you see things. So it's what Bob said, right? It's how we view it. And I said from the get-go this was probably going to be a bit of a derpy peafowl, because this is the first time I've ever tried to do anything involving a peafowl. aside from trying to figure out what the hell that loud noise was at the zoo, and then realizing, oh, that little bird made that friggin' noise. I always thought it was like a monkey or something that was being quite that obnoxiously loud. No, it was these guys. Tulsa Zoo has a couple of these guys free roaming. With lots of signs explicitly everywhere in the one picnic area, do not feed them. And some of them, they were pretty brazen. They were like walking right up to the tables looking at all the little kids in the strollers. Because, you know, oh, let me scare the little kid. And the little kid's gonna drop what they're holding. Crafty bastards. I mean, it's not like they weren't being fed. So my ear is still messed up, but I think it's a little better than it was. I think. So, the ear saga continues. So yeah, we're gonna put little paper snakes in to attach this to the head, but for right now, it's just gonna kind of float and hang out there. And I'm trying to come back in and make sure that the feathers that definitely will have paper snakes attached to them get their lines first now, since I messed up my angle over here a little bit, so that we can kind of try to stay on track here. Alright, let's move over a little bit. Oh, we can't move over anymore. I have to move this. That's right. There we go. So this one's gonna have something probably about there. Alright, a little bit more water. Alright. Split these two here. I need one more right there. I don't want to get too detailed in that section because that's going to be a little bit more difficult to get into there. Alright, a little bit more water. It's okay if we get a little bit of white in that spot. It's gonna get covered with our tissue paper on the beak. Alright. So I think we need it to be just a little bit more flowy. All right. We actually have a vet appointment for Momo tomorrow. He has to go, and we want to make sure that these new lumps aren't anything to worry about on him. Because they kind of just popped up or became noticeable suddenly. And the one on his neck's a little bit more pronounced, so he's acting normal, but I kind of don't want to be too blindsided by anything. So I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna if I'm going to do all of these tubes in white or just some of them. I mean, some of them will definitely have tubes on them. Some of them I might leave painted in the background just to kind of maybe give it a little bit more depth and stuff. So it's kind of where we're at the moment with the paint as far as that's concerned. So I think that might be all of the actual painting we're going to be doing. I don't want to do the foof on the head yet because we have some background feather work that definitely needs to be done. Really wish this screen would stop being...
The rain showed up.
Oh, did it?
Mm-hmm.
Would stop being quite so silly.
Sorry.
But since the paint's wet and kind of want to work a little bit on the background to a degree before we really get into the body, I think we'll pause there because I really need to figure out what the fuck is going on with Twitch and why it's pulsing my camera image. So I think we'll stop there for tonight. Hopefully I can figure out what the hell's going on. I didn't plan on this being a long stream anyway. I've got a shit ton of stuff to do around the house. So thank you guys for popping in and checking things out and seeing where we're at. And I think next Sunday we'll get started with starting to put our tissue paper down. So you guys have a great night. I will see you on Wednesday for Bloodthirsty. Wednesday is going to be, we're only going to do 3 Bloodthirsties. We're going to do the Hunter, the Holy Priest, and the Rogue. We're going to take the Rogue through the Maw. So we're skipping the Mage this week. The Mage needs to get a little bit of an extra buffer because they're only 4 levels off the Rogue, so I kind of want to get them about 5 levels off of the Rogue right now. Just to give me a little bit extra padding so I don't have everybody just sitting in Ouroboros or Bastion being like, hey, we going? So yeah, we're only going to do 3 bloods. We'll see about doing the iron this week. I don't know if we're going to have time. It depends on how long it takes us to get through the Rogue. If the Rogue lives, hopefully it will. Alright, so you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good work week, and I will see you on Wednesday.